All right, let's talk about our electrical world. We're going to peel back a layer and look at a piece of equipment you've probably never seen or even heard of, but you 100% rely on it every single day. We are talking about the power grid's silent guardian, the shunt reactor.
So, to kick things off, here's a question for you. Why on earth would a massive, powerful system like our electrical grid need something that's basically a shock absorber? I mean, it sounds a little strange, right? Well, the answer is actually the key to keeping our modern world running.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The whole reason these things exist is because the grid has a fundamental voltage problem. And in this story, the bad guy isn't a lack of energy, it's actually having too much energy in the wrong place.
So, picture our huge network of high-voltage transmission lines stretching for hundreds of miles. Well, these lines have their own kind of electrical personality. They can naturally build up a certain type of energy called capacitive reactive power. Now, when demand for electricity is low, think, 3 in the morning when everyone's asleep, all that extra energy has nowhere to go. The grid starts to get, well, jittery, kind of hyper-energetic.
And this phenomenon isn't just some weird quirk. It has a name, the Ferranti effect. And trust me, it's a big deal. What it means is you get this dangerous spike in voltage at the far end of a long power line. If you don't do anything about it, that overvoltage can fry equipment, trigger blackouts, and just wreck the stability of the whole system. So we obviously need a way to calm things down.
And that brings us to the hero of our story, the shunt reactor. This is the device that was literally invented to fight back against that dangerous energy buildup and keep the grid cool, calm, and collected.
So, what is this thing, really? Well, a shunt reactor is basically just a giant coil. It's an inductive device, and its entire purpose in life is to be the complete opposite of that capacitive effect we were just talking about. It's designed to absorb that problematic reactive power, acting like a perfect counterbalance to pull voltage levels right back down to normal. You know, the absolute best way to think about it is like this. A shunt reactor is like a giant electrical sponge. It just sits there connected to the power line, and its whole job is to soak up all that extra jittery energy before it can cause any trouble. It's simple, it's effective, and it is absolutely essential.
All right, so let's do a quick play-by-play. Step 1. That excess capacitive energy makes the voltage on the line start to climb. Step 2. The shunt reactor, which is connected in parallel with the line, gets to work. Step 3. Its massive coil creates a magnetic field, which naturally just gobbles up all that reactive power. And the result, step 4, the voltage drops back to a safe, stable level. Problem solved.
Okay, so we know what it is and we know how it works. But where are these silent guardians actually being used out there in the real world? Well, their job is absolutely crucial in a few key spots. So their main gig, of course, is stabilizing voltage, especially when demand is low overnight. They're also a must-have for those really long transmission lines, and even more so for underground or subsea cables, which have a ton of capacitance. By balancing all this out, they just make the whole grid healthier and more efficient. But where they're becoming a real game changer is in renewable energy.
And this really gets to the heart of the modern challenge. We all want to use more renewable energy from wind and solar farms. The tricky part is that their power output is all over the place, right? The sun goes behind a cloud, the wind stops blowing, and those fluctuations can cause serious voltage headaches for the grid. Shunt reactors are one of the key tools we have to smooth out those bumps, making it possible to safely plug more and more green energy into our homes. Okay, for our last section, let's bring this all back down to earth. I mean, these aren't just abstract ideas. They are massive, heavy-duty pieces of industrial equipment, and they're built to incredibly high standards by some of the biggest companies in the world.
So when it comes to the hardware, they basically come in two main flavors, and it all depends on how they're cooled. First, you've got your oil-immersed reactors. They look a lot like giant transformers, and they're used for the really high-voltage stuff. Then you've got dry-type reactors. These are cooled by air, and you'll find them in places where a big tank of oil would be a fire risk, like inside a city substation. And there's one other big difference you need to know about: how they're controlled. A fixed reactor is the simple version. It's either on or it's off, absorbing a set amount of power. But a variable shunt reactor, or VSR, is way more advanced. It can fine-tune exactly how much reactive power it's absorbing in real time. That dynamic control is incredibly valuable for the kind of complex, fast-changing grid we have today. And of course, these things are built like tanks. They have to operate for decades out in the elements. They're governed by super strict international standards, and yeah, they're built by the heavy hitters of the energy world, companies like Hitachi Energy, Siemens Energy, and GE. This is some serious, high-stakes engineering.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. For decades, the humble shunt reactor has been the silent guardian, quietly solving a fundamental problem of physics on our power grid. Now, it's stepping up into a starring role, making the whole green energy transition possible. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we keep pushing our electrical world into the future, what's going to be the next big challenge, and what brilliant, simple solution will we come up with to solve it?